Some of the video games don't use the numbers, or they hide the numbers.
Do they do the thing where like there's a 3 instead of an E or something?
No, they do the Scream thing. Where
Resident Threevil?
The joy in Ace's voice.
Well, that's a mistake we made back on the 3rd episode for sure.
No, that's a mistake Paul W.S. Anderson made.
You all go skydiving.
Deployment at T-minus 57 seconds.
Oh, you won't have to wait that long, boys.
Every damn frame.
My name is Alice. I work for the Umbrella Corporation in a secret laboratory developing experimental viral weaponry. Everybody died. Trouble was, they didn't stay dead.
You are going to be in for the fight of your lives.
Good thing we like a challenge.
I just want to play a fun game is also the thing the killer will say to you right before you die.
That's also true. Hello. This is not a murder at all. This is a podcast. I am Jesse.
Liz.
And I'm Asa. And this is Every Damn Frame.
This is Every Damn Frame, a show about franchises in which 3 friends have trapped themselves in a prison of watching every damn frame of a film franchise, no matter what else is inside these walls.
What's inside the walls this time is faces that split apart into multiple vectors.
Gentle listener, you might hear this sounding a little different this time. It's because we're trying a bold experiment in podcasting. We are not in the same room. We are in different rooms at our respective homes, which are all admittedly in the same city. We could have gotten together, but we are trying this out for various technical and life reasons, and we're happy to be here.
Sometimes, in the event of a zombie apocalypse, we might not all be able to get together in the same space, but that's not going to stop us from podcasting. And it's not going to stop us from watching the entire Resident Evil franchise. You are joining us for Series 1, and this is the 4th installment today, Resident Evil Afterlife. Somehow you're on episode 4, you just jumped in the middle because this one seemed like a good one to start, and you also don't know what Resident Evil is. Resident Evil is a survival horror video game series published by Capcom. The first game was released in 1996. There's been between 9 and 11 official chapters in the video game story, depending on how you count. But between our last film and this one, Capcom released Resident Evil 5, which actually became their biggest game so far. It added a ton of just stuff that's absolutely bananas, which director and writer Paul W.S. Anderson did play, and decide to put in this movie as well. We'll get to the video game stuff later because this is a film podcast. We're here to talk about the movie.
It's kind of a shame that this franchise doesn't include the numbers in the titles because having now seen the first 4 Resident Evil movies, good grief, this is a serialized narrative as hell.
Which I love about it. Like, I mean, I think I've said this in previous episodes, but I just love a serialized narrative in film rather than television, which we don't get much anymore. And this series really knocks it out of the park.
Last time on Resident Evil, the T-virus spread throughout the world, got rid of all the water, and turned America into a functional Mad Max apocalypse. Alice is split from the survivors.
Claire's convoy.
There's convoy. Alice splits from the survivors of Resident Evil Apocalypse, and they join Claire Redfield's convoy because she understood that Umbrella rebuilt her as a genetic superweapon, and then they intentionally released her, only to then realize that their plans for making a cure or another monster require still having Alice. Alice joins up with Claire Redfield of Claire Redfield's convoy, reunites with her old friends, and they try to flee to Alaska because there's the rumor of a safe haven. All of her old friends from the other movie are now dead. The new friends have escaped to Alaska, and she confronts Dr. Isaacs, who has turned himself into a boss fight. And the movie ends with Alice liberating an army of superpowered clones of herself as she threatens to find the real guy in charge of Umbrella, sunglasses icon Albert Wesker.
Incredible.
So,
good job. Good job with that recap.
Thank you. Most importantly, however, everyone, we talked about last time, Paul W.S. Anderson considered the films complete at 3, and that this was a Resident Evil trilogy, and he had told the end of his story, and that last one was just a fun button to go out on, but not actually a plan that he had to continue these movies. So we are now in full-on serialized territory from this point forward because, as we discussed last time, that movie made a lot of money.
And more importantly, ended on a cliffhanger that kind of demanded a follow-up. I'm sorry, if you were to tease me, if you're going to tease the possibility of many Milla Jovoviches running around.
Nope.
Jovovich. Jovovich, how difficult is it, for God's sakes? We
You
made a
sound like
movie
God.
together.
Didn't get it.
It's fine.
Did not. Nope.
It's my bit. I've embraced my bit. At this point, if you're going to promise me multiple Milas running around, laying waste to dudes, you better deliver that. I'm sorry. There are rules. There are rules. We live in a society, and I demand satisfaction.
I think, and he and only he considered it a satisfying ending in terms of like the woman I am married to and mother of my child, and now there are lots of her. Everyone is happy. Movie over.
I mean, we talked about this last time, that it is the first happy cliffhanger in the series. The first
That
two
is
are
true.
much more like, oh dang, Alice fucked now, and that one is like, Alice has turned the tables, she's coming after them. So you can take that as a like, I assume she'll win. If that was the end of the trilogy, you could take that as an assumption she would win. But as you mentioned, Jesse, that movie made a ton of money, but importantly, and we'll just keep saying this over and over, all of it internationally. Shall we talk gross on Afterlife? Because it is at this point a tale as old as time.
Oh yeah.
Afterlife cost $60 million, which is up about $10 million from the previous two. And I think there are behind the scenes reasons for that, primarily to do with the fact that it is in 3 dimensions, shot natively in 3D during the 3D boom, according to Wikipedia, because Paul W.S. Anderson saw some early footage from Avatar and was like, yes, I'm in. So cost 60, only made 60 in the US, which also tracks to previous entries in the franchise of not even making back its budget, because as a general rule of thumb for the entertainment industry, you need to make back twice your actual budget to start turning a profit, because the theaters take a cut, you pay for marketing and so on. Then making just bank internationally, this movie made $240 internationally for a total gross of $300 million. And I will now play my favorite game, which is, what is this movie's inflation twin?
Yay! I actually love this game.
This movie had such an insane multiplier between domestic and international gross that it does not have a proper inflation twin, at least not in the last couple years. I just thought of one that I'm going to look up after I say this, and so maybe I'll come back to you with a good comp. But adjusted for inflation, this movie cost and made about $90 million US in 2026 dollars. And globally, it made $452 million.
Yeah,
that's total worldwide.
Because you're right. Like, I mean, like, what was the last $90 million movie budget wise? That's kind of a weird spot.
We don't make those. We don't make too many of those anymore.
We mostly don't, and the things that gross as much as 452 globally do more domestically too. So the closest comp I could find, which is not even really that close, is the 2025 Snow White, made 87 million domestic and 205 worldwide, which is still half the worldwide gross of Resident Evil Afterlife. As a almost inflation twin, Beetlejuice in 2024 grossed exactly 452 million globally, but made 294 domestic. We're just all over the place.
Also, I bet Beetlejuice cost a little bit more than 90.
For sure.
I learned a business fact. I know that it's Asa's business corner, but I did learn an interesting business fact based on Liz going deep on Constantine film, and then I was trying to figure out how all of these things tied together based on something I read. So Screen Gems, which is Sony, basically negative pickup Afterlife for 58 million is what I read, like in Reuters or something like that. So basically they were almost in the clear from the beginning, and Sony felt very confident that they were going to get that back enough that Constantine was in the clear before it ever released. Wild, like, bit of like the complicated business of all those names that you see on the screen at the beginning and their relationships.
Yeah, it's fascinating, like, how one dude can make a deal in the 1980s and ensure that his name is on this franchise forever.
Someday we will do the Batman movies on this podcast, and we will have a lot to say about a dude just like that.
Something else about this movie, it's got a Metacritic score of 37, which ain't great, but it has a cinema score of B-. And I'm just mentioning this because I want to brag about the fact that very recently, as we record this, but I happened to go to a movie with a friend on a Thursday night. It was like, you know how movies are supposed to be released on Fridays, but every theater at this point has like Thursday night screenings. We went to see a movie. The cinema score people were there. I got the card. I got to participate in the cinema score. It was so exciting.
And what did you give the movie, Liz?
I gave it a B. And you know what? I checked the cinema score rating the next day. It was a B. And my friend also gave it a B. We are trendsetters, and that movie owes us.
Voice of the people, Liz Miller.
That is what people always say about my work, is Liz Miller really in touch with the voice of the people.
Hey guys, I had to go back a little bit to find it, but I knew as soon as I was talking what it was. The franchise that operates like Resident Evil is the Meg, which they cost more than Resident Evil movies, so it's not really one-to-one, but they make basically their budget in the US and bank overseas, which in the Meg's case is mostly China. The Meg 2 made $82 million in the United States, which is actually about $50 million less than its budget, but made $315 million in other territories for a total global gross of $400 million.
Wow.
It's the Meg.
It's the Meg.
This movie's twin is the Meg franchise.
Except that
Wild.
when you go see a press screening of a Resident Evil movie, they probably don't provide free cocktails in advance, which is what happened when I went and saw the last Meg movie. I did not drink the cocktail, but it was an option.
Was it a themed cocktail?
I believe it was along the lines of a Sharktini.
It is interesting that it's another monster movie. It's another thing where there's not a lot of dialogue that really needs to be localized in order to understand the core plot of, like, the shark is coming to get me, get the shark first, zombies coming, etc. So yeah, Extinction made so much money that Sony basically started saying, yeah, there's going to be another one. And Paul W.S. Anderson was like, I guess so, and started coming up with new ideas and trying to, like, unpaint himself out of the corner that he had painted himself into with what he considered to be a completed story.
So I know we're about to dive into the plot here, but can you tease to what degree does the plot of this movie borrow, get inspiration from, etc., the games?
I sure can. This is probably, and this is Anderson also saying this, the movie that borrows the most from the video games.
Exciting.
In terms of characters, inventions, not necessarily directly plot, but like a lot of like major sort of plot elements. When we get to that part of it, that is both to its benefit and detriment. But what's basically happening at this point is Capcom's aware, to the point that we talked about last time, that there's a laser hallway in Resident Evil 4 as a result of the movies. Capcom's aware that these things exist and, are driving some attention. And it's become this like little machine where they invent a bunch of banana stuff. A video game playing director plays the video game, likes things about it, and says, I shall use some of these things in my film in a slightly different way. And then that movie, which has nothing to do with the video games, does drive people, it seems like, to go check out the video games. It has driven a lot of awareness of them up a little bit. I will tell you guys that prior to us doing this show, because I hadn't played the games, I was certain that at some point Alice is a character in the video games. And I was quite surprised once I got in. I was like, where's Alice? Because there's other characters in red dresses. And so I assumed that that's what I was seeing, but no. So that cycle is really, really interesting. At this point, it's grooved in that they're going to come up with some stuff and they're going to do some stuff and he's going to do something different, but stuff will make an appearance one way or another. The big business thing, which relates to this before we start talking about it, because it's going to relate to the plot, is that Ace already teased this. This movie was shot in native 3D. Anderson's a huge convert. Cameron showed him the stuff. He's using Cameron's cameras. So they are using the Avatar system and also 2 Phantom.
Well, there is an outrageous amount of slow motion in this movie.
Phantom is the slow-mo cam?
The Phantom is a famous slow motion camera that can shoot 1,000 frames a second.
Damn. That's a lot.
Asa and I have shot a movie in native 3D. Once ran a Kickstarter to rent a Phantom for the dumbest possible reason.
People in prom dresses run through piles of cardboard boxes in slow motion.
Anyway, so we're in the 3D boom is the important thing here, which is a premium format. This is the beginning of premium formats driving some of this. He's decided from the beginning that he's writing this movie for 3D. Here at the start, I wanted to mention that because I think a lot of things that we're going to talk about in terms of the plot, in terms of some of the decisions that are made, it's really helpful to remember that this movie was planned and created specifically for native 3D. It's in that early part of the era. So because we were going to make that movie, we saw all of these things. I remember we went to everything that had been shot in native 3D at the time. What's that weird Nicolas Cage movie we went to?
Was it Drive Angry?
Drive Angry, yeah. And Dread we went to because Dread was also shot in native 3D.
And has so much slow-mo, and Dread is so good.
Dread is the best.
Dread, interestingly, a movie that does not, like when you watch it now, it does not trigger my, oh, they did it for 3D in a way that this movie in a couple moments definitely was made for 3D. There's a little bit of the phone for you happening with mostly with various sharp objects.
Dear listeners who haven't known us for 20 years, because this is an audio medium, phone for you is a thing where Asa pushes the phone towards the camera or your face if you are in real life, because that was a first round. The first time 3D was a fad with Anaglyph, that was a very famous, like, woo, it's so real. It's coming out of the screen like I can touch it. Anyway, these tickets cost more.
Yes.
They still do, but they cost a lot more even at the time. And so these box office numbers also are partially driven by the 3D boom as well. But yeah, this movie, I was shocked when I was rewatching it. How many of these things I had a sense memory of the 3D from. Now the movie.
Yes, we left our friend Alice with a bunch of her clones, I think knowing that Wesker is in the knot hive that is in Japan or in Tokyo, right? Japan. Now we are in Japan. It is raining. There are crazy high heels. Paul W.S. Anderson is directing these movies again. We are so back, baby. Her outfit is insane. It's raining in slow motion. All the businessmen have umbrellas.
Many umbrellas.
This little 2-3 minute sequence is such a delight.
That Japanese, they credit her as J-pop girl. I looked her up. She's a famous Japanese pop star. The first zombie, the Japanese zombie in Shibuya who bites that businessman, is a well-known Japanese pop star that they flew to Toronto, where they rebuilt the Shibuya intersection because they couldn't close it in Tokyo and do all of that crazy shit. So
that is
they
awesome.
Flew her out for it.
I wondered if we should create a new superlative for best opening in a Resident Evil movie. It might still be won by the Alice Ditch reveal in the previous movie, but this is real good, you guys.
Last week when I said that I remembered this being my favorite, it was really good in 3D, everybody. I remember that. Rain, particles, anything that goes in front of the camera and gives you a chance to see some depth or texture. Those two things always look amazing in 3D. All the plastic shiny umbrellas I remember also being a very weird, visceral kind of high.
So Tokyo is a post-apocalyptic waste, and we've got some guards up on the parapets, and they shoot a zombie and say biohazard terminated, and I squealed with delight like they said the name of the movie, because they finally said biohazard in one of these movies.
And they said it in Japanese, so it'd be a bit like if they had made a movie in Japan about America, and then someone said Resident Evil eliminated.
Perfect. Amazing. I also like that the guards had a little game that they were playing, like they were keeping score. Like, I like that. I like them. Like, they go away real quick, but
The guards were
I
very
like that
charming,
touch.
but they get murdered by Alice's pretty quick, and then we go into a 3D map, as one does.
Yeah.
Far below the guards to see the umbrella facility below, and all the guards down there are piling up in front of some big blast doors with their guns, waiting to destroy the intruder. And while we're watching them watch the door, who should silently drop down from above but Alice in a skin-tight black cat suit.
And her hair is real long.
I like the ponytail. I gotta say, I like the ponytail. It is a new look.
Alice appears and she gets shot after doing some serious combat with the guards. But it's okay, because there's a whole bunch of other Alices, and they all come running in, and they're all working together to fight the guys. And the thing I want to observe, not to fast forward too much to Liz's fashion corner, but there's some inconsistent heel wearing. Like,
it's a lot of heel. It's a lot of heel on those outfits.
There's a lot of heel, but every once in a while you see a flat, and it's meant to. It's weird.
It's intentional. Milla Jovovich made a acting decision that each one of the clones would be a little bit different and have their own personalities and style for how they do things. And so she made little character decisions and kept track of which clone she was playing in each one of the motion controlled sequences, and did little like gait changes. Like, are they like people who really enjoy violence? Some of them smile more. And the heel versus flat thing is meant to be some of the Alice clones don't fuck with heels.
Yeah, and respect.
I love that. And that actually answers my "do you have a question?" which was, why are some Alices using machine guns and some Alices are using ninja swords? But clearly they are their own people, Asa, and you should respect their individuality.
There's all this effort put into making them distinct individuals, but at the same time, they are kind of treated as expendable as the sequence progresses. When we get to the point where two Alices are dropping down the elevator shaft, one of them just takes a shot to the head and is just done. And the movie doesn't really slow down to acknowledge that or mourn them.
It felt very Aeon Flux in that moment, and some of that is the outfit, I'm sure, but some of it is the just like, watching the protagonist just die over and over and over again.
Alice makes it down and she's confronting Wesker.
New Wesker.
He's
been new Wesker, or old Wesker, but new actor.
And now I get to tell you the fun fact that I learned last time, but wasn't relevant until now, which is, did either of you look up New Wesker on IMDb?
I didn't look up who played him, no.
Sean Roberts. You will recognize him from the first X-Men movie, where he is Rogue's boyfriend that she kisses in the very first scene of the very first X-Men movie.
That's wonderful. That's a great detail. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take this opportunity to also mention a casting thing from the last movie that I felt really bad about not mentioning. It was in my notes and everything. The actor who played the cowboy, who was part of Claire Redfield's convoy, he was the actor who played Johnny Cage in the first Mortal Kombat movie.
What?
I
believe so.
Oh, yes. No, you're right. You are right about that. I knew that on some level too, because I have a general note that the more that you learn about these movies, the more you learn that there's like a collection of like friends of the family who just show up all the time in these things, both like behind the camera, in front of the camera. So yeah, he does seem to bring people back.
Like another famous Anderson, Paul W.S. has his ensemble. What's the term I'm looking for here? His ensemble, his
troupe.
Troupe.
Yes.
Thank you. That's what it is. Paul W.S. has his troupe, and I respect that. I
have one more very like dumb behind the scenes fact about this, and I will shut up about some of this. But the place where they shot this, I learned, it already kind of looked like this.
Oh,
It's
that's handy.
it is the pharmacology department of a university in Toronto. And that little like mobile command center floating above the other places where all the action is happening is the faculty coffee bar.
What?
They put a new floor in and they removed the coffee machines, but otherwise, that's where the pharmaceutical faculty get their coffee at this university.
That is amazing.
That's
Wait,
fantastic.
what city was this in? Is this in Vancouver?
Toronto.
Toronto.
It's Toronto.
All right, next time we
I
go
would
to
like to make
Toronto.
a pilgrimage there. Yes, very much so. And I will.
Amazing.
So I think the important thing in this opening is we're seeing Alice use her powers a bunch. I'm going to give a pass to what I think is not great wire foo here by saying that she is using her psychic powers to carry herself through the air at one point, and Alice, who's cornered, like blows up the entire room with her psychic powers. All of these things. She catches up to Wesker. Wesker jumps in his boss fight vehicle and flies away and activates the like self-destruct mechanism in the facility, which blows up the facility, killing all the Alices. But whoops, just like the xenomorph, there is one Alice hiding in the wall of his escape pod.
And not just any Alice, Alice Prime.
Yes.
Which we can
tell
tell because
she has different hair.
This is how ladies work. You can always tell you can tell our clones apart because we have different hair.
They are individuals, Liz, and you need to respect that. But he stabs Alice Prime with a cure, right?
Yeah.
Like a T virus killing virus, which because her powers come from the T virus are gonna depower her. And they're fighting some. She doesn't have her powers anymore. He has the gun on her. He's ready to go. And she says, "Thank you." And he's like, "For what? Killing you?" And she's like, "No, making me human," which is awesome.
But here's my question. Why was this a necessary story decision? It's not that I question it. I'm just curious, like, do we have insight into why this is an important thing to do at the very top of this movie?
I suspect, based on what Jesse told us previously, that this is a Paul W.S. Anderson wrote himself into a she has too much power corner at the end of the last movie, thinking he would never have to deal with it again. And so now he needs to do the classic, we have like super powered up our heroes for a big climactic fight at the end of a season, and then a new season starts and it's like, and then they lost that power for some reason.
Yes, you are 100% correct. Anderson felt like nobody was going to ever think that she was in danger if they did any normal zombie scene ever again, because she had off the chart telekinetic powers, some psychic abilities, all of the crazy combat moves, and an army of clones. I remember, and I've talked to a lot of people who, because they know we're doing this now, and I mentioned which movie we're on, and most people hate the beginning of this movie because they don't like to see her lose all of that cool stuff right at the beginning. From a video game perspective, like going back to like Metroid 2, this is what we do. You get to play for 5 minutes with all the stuff, and then the character loses all the stuff, and then you're invested in slowly building it all back up. I also hate that trend, but it is a thing. But he was just painted into a corner, and it just felt like nobody was going to ever worry about her. It's weird because Alice is still very capable, very dangerous, and seconds from now, despite being human again, nigh unkillable.
Yes, this is the second time in this franchise that is only 4 movies deep where Alice is in a helicopter or plane crash with the main villain and Alice just walks away. Yeah. I think it works, and pulling that trigger right at the beginning gives you a whole movie to kind of forget that you were sad she lost all the cool powers and just get into the new version of what this is.
I will share from my notes, which are oftentimes just sentence fragments written in all caps on my phone. When I was watching this opening sequence, I wrote, "Mega heels, many Alices, this is feminism."
That's the t-shirt.
I'm increasingly starting to think of the Resident Evil franchise as a feminist masterpiece. So, okay, have we gotten to the part where Wesker crashes the plane and they're in the mountains, and then we just go 6 months later?
Yeah, 6 months later. We're again,
Yes.
They're giving you such a timeline, Liz. You must be ecstatic.
I love a timeline. What can I say? Tell me what order things take place in.
So now we're catching up with Arcadia. Alice is in Alaska. She lands her plane in a field full of empty planes, which is a super cool visual.
One detail I like from this is that the jacket she's wearing has Russian writing on it. So you can kind of guess that after the plane crashed in Asia somewhere, she basically made her way to Russia and stole a plane there. And that's how she got across the ocean.
And I really like this look in general, too. I'm going to make the argument that this is an asymmetrical Alice look by virtue of the jacket being very poofy, but then tights and like slim boots. It's asymmetrical top bottom rather than side to side, which is a fun new iteration on the floor.
Yeah, you've got like the big chunky scarf, and then also like the sleeves on the jacket were like really loose. Like it was an interesting look overall.
I'm saving this for Fashion Corner. I'll give you a time to think about it. What is the official name, according to the director, for the outfit that she's wearing in this sequence?
It has a name?
As far as he's concerned, yes.
I'm so
I have guesses, but we'll save it. Okay.
Yes.
But we're in Alaska now, and Alice is wandering around. Basically, like there was supposed to be a magical utopian village here, and there's not. And I forget, is Arcadia... Utopia is Greek for nowhere. What does Arcadia mean?
Ooh, good question.
Idyllic pastoral paradise.
Okay, yeah. So it's not like the irony of utopia. It's just kind of flat out paradise.
It was the home of Pan, the god of the wild, shepherds and flocks.
So it's not there in Alaska, which is kind of a bummer. But she does, after kind of sitting around and moping on a beach and whatnot, find Claire Redfield.
Yeah, she finds the umbrella chopper that her friends escaped in, and then like wild Claire attacks her, which you think maybe is a zombie for a second, but then she's not, and she fights Claire down and sees a glowy red scarab on her chest. So she knocks Claire out, ties her up, takes the scarab off her. And Claire does not remember Alice, does not remember anything. Whatever that scarab was doing to her, it's blanked her out.
When I saw the scarab device, and remember, I'm watching this all for the first time, I was really excited because I remembered how, Ace in particular, you've talked about how, it's not really a Resident Evil movie unless the Umbrella Corporation is up to shenanigans. And that's a hella shenanigan right there. That's some mind control shenaniganing.
Where are they getting the budget for this?
Why would you assume that the mind control boob scarab is an Umbrella product?
I can't imagine why. It's actually kind of like not their aesthetic necessarily.
It's from a different team. It's not Wesker's team.
Different product team. Like, over in the bio division, but like over in home electronics. Like, still trying to make the you and Joni Ive are still trying to make the boob scarab a thing, huh?
Oh boy. Anyway, so Alice packs up Claire and puts her back on the plane, and they just start cruising down the coastline because what the hell else are they going to do? And I mean, like, the good news is Alice has like found another person. See, she kind of seemed a little glum about not having found any people.
I think that's great for Alice. I am a little sad about the like hard reset in Alice and Claire's relationship. I was actually sadder about that than the reset in the Powers, because I like when we have these returning characters. I like that Alice does have friends, that she made friends in the convoy. And I like Claire. And so getting like the mind wiped Claire instead of the Claire that we had in the previous movie was a little sad for me. I mean, we get Claire back kind of in bits and pieces over time, but
that is a sad moment. There's a great bit. I remember sitting up and watching it because of our conversation where she's like trying to jog her memory, and she says, "Hey, do you remember Mikey? Do you remember Carlos? Do you remember Kmart? Do you remember LJ?" And I was like, we don't have to remember LJ.
Oh, yeah.
You don't remember that? Good.
We spit on his grave.
Beautiful Carlos. He cost us beautiful Carlos.
Before we move on from Ali Larder, I do want to note, so I'm watching the credits. Again, I know nothing about what's about to happen in this movie, but I'm watching the credits. I see Ali Larder's name above the title. Very excited for her. Congratulations. So I know Claire's coming back. But I write in my notes immediately below that, has this franchise ever kept an actor's name out of the credits to keep the surprise of their eventual reveal? And I'm telling you guys that now because I know we're going to be talking about this later.
On one of the commentary tracks that I listened to, Anderson says, I think people know by now, right, that if the actor's name is after the title of the movie, you should be concerned for their character's safety for the duration of the film.
It's interesting. So the intentional, like, you can get attached to Claire. She's going to be okay. Huh.
Also, I think they had to, because I do know my only trivia fact. I have very few trivia facts, guys. I have this in the notes, but I think 2010 might have been around the time the internet stopped being fun, because it got a lot less fun to find interesting facts. But Ali Larter missed 7 episodes of Heroes to do this movie.
I'm sure that season of Heroes, which was definitely not the first season, really suffered as a result. I definitely bet that season of Heroes would have been great otherwise.
But it probably meant that because she had to do that, she could demand a lot, including name above the title, you are not killing me under any circumstances, you are putting me in the next one of these, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, because that happened between movies. She had been cast in Heroes, but it had not blown up yet when they made her Claire Redfield. And so it was a legitimate surprise / concern that they had like a new Jill Valentine problem all over again.
But great timing for them to have a second big star in this.
Casting television actors on the rise will continue to be a pretty good strategy.
So, yes, they get to Los Angeles. They're concerned because it seems like Los Angeles even is totally empty. And they're like, we should at least be seeing zombies. But then they see all the zombies, which are gathered around this giant prison building. And there are people on the roof yelling for them. They've written like help on the roof and they're trying to flag them down. So the plane, though, they are not really there to help. They are there running out of gas in like a biplane that has been flying down the coast. So they crash land on the roof of this prison, and the ragtag band of survivors that are living there help pull the plane back from the brink. And we get to meet our ragtag band of survivors.
I love a ragtag band of survivors, especially when one of them is a secret basketball star.
Which you know almost right away because he uses a sweet basketball move to save Alice's plane from going over the edge.
Then later, it's like, maybe you like watches. And he points to the billboard where he's looking real cool wearing a watch. It's so good.
Did you guys catch that they are using the Resident Evil font on the billboard for the watch?
No. That's
weird,
amazing.
Crazy, knifey font is somehow also like on the gosh darn billboard. It's insane.
I love a weird font use. So yes, we got Luther, played by Boris Koji. Now, is Luther feels like a name I've heard my coworker who plays these games talking about. Is Luther a character in the games?
Asa, do you think Luther is a character in the Resident Evil games? This will be a new fun segment.
I do not.
Luther is not a Resident Evil game character.
I also do not think that evil movie producer is a Resident Evil game character. I feel fairly certain that is Paul W.S. Anderson working out some aggression through his art.
Yes, no, the evil movie producer and his hapless intern are not Resident Evil characters, nor is the high school swimming champion whose name I don't remember.
And our fourth one is Angel. I wrote it down. Angel Ortiz. He could be a video game character. It sounds like none of them are, but out of all of them, he's the one I would most think.
We already had a Carlos Oliveira. There's no Angel Ortiz.
I have an unrelated video game question, which is...
Yes.
To the best of my knowledge, and I'll admit that I have not played some of the later ones that were not in arcades, but I don't think there's ever been a Resident Evil character in a Marvel vs. Capcom game, and I feel like there should. I want Cyclops to fight Albert Wesker.
Ooh, that's a really good question.
I chose wrong. It should be Venom that fights Albert Wesker.
Oh, yes.
Okay, here's my questions for the group. Who from Marvel do you want to see fight Albert Wesker, and who from Marvel do you want to see fight Jill Valentine? It can't be Alice because she's not in the games. It's got to be Jill Valentine.
I got news. I'm sorry. I was wrong about this. Because yes, we haven't played the later ones. Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, Albert Wesker, and Nemesis are in some of the Marvel Capcom games.
Yes.
Awesome.
I may go down to my PlayStation and purchase one of these games tonight.
Just for completion, Jill Valentine is in Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in her classic Stars outfit.
Which we've
and
seen in the movie, right? That's the exact outfit that they replicated?
I think so. No, I'm not sure. I think so. And then Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, she's got her battle suit. I don't know which one that is. Chris Redfield is playable in Marvel Capcom 3 Fate of Two Worlds and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Wesker is playable in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Fate of Two Worlds and Ultimate Marvel. Nemesis is playable in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. And then, yes, that's it. The Google AI summary got it wrong and added a character from Dead Rising, which is also a Capcom game, but he's not part of the Resident Evil franchise.
So I've been thinking about Ace's question. I think
Yeah.
I have to agree. I like Cyclops versus Wesker because I like the Battle of the Sunglasses. And then for Jill Valentine, I mean, I guess Black Widow. I don't know. Like, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, do you want to go like matching powers, or do you want to go like extreme opposites?
I like the eyeball guy. Who's the giant eyeball guy from Marvel? That feels like up Jill Valentine's alley in like a giant monster way.
That's fair. She could take on the Hulk.
Ooh. That's very Nemesis of her.
I would want to watch Chris Redfield fight like War Machine.
Wesker should fight MODOK.
Oh, Jill Valentine could fight MODOK. I'm loving
Everyone
all
can
of
fight
this, you
MODOK.
guys.
Yeah,
This
you're
is
doing
good.
great. This is good work.
I want Capcom versus MODOK, and there are no other Marvel characters, just MODOK.
Okay, so we've met this plucky band of people who are hanging out in a prison. Except there's one other guy who's hanging out in the prison, and he's still in the prison.
Wait, we're not
cell.
there yet. We're not there yet.
Fine, all right, fine.
First, we have a Shyamalan twist that all the survivors on the rooftop say, "Are you from Arcadia? Are you from Arcadia?" And
That's right. I'm sorry.
Alice and Claire are very confused because they're very, very far from Alaska, where Arcadia is. And the people on the roof say, no, it's right there, and hand them some binoculars. And it turns out that no, Arcadia was a ship all along, which makes a ton of sense because if there is no infection in Arcadia, it's because they have been out to sea. And so all those abandoned planes, people would land and then I'm assuming be cleared of like, yes, you have no virus and get to board the ship. And so the Arcadia has been just traveling down the coast collecting survivors and they want to get to that ship, but now they don't have a plane, or rather they have a plane that just crash landed and only seats 2.
That is a really good twist. I did really like that reveal.
Paul W.S. Anderson has managed a Mandela effect on all of us because Alaska starts with A and Arcadia starts with A. The idea that it was a ship is part of the like, oh shit, I painted myself into a corner. So the ship was invented specifically like kind of late in the writing process for this. I never noticed it until this time when I was paying attention that Arcadia is a retcon that slid right over the plate.
So in Extinction, they just keep saying, we're going to Alaska, we're going to Alaska. It's not even like on the journals.
No, it's like, there's a town in Alaska. There's a town in Alaska.
That's amazing.
Oh. Well done.
Well done,
Well done.
Paul W.S. Anderson.
Yeah, no, that's a hard retcon. So yeah, it's a shock for Alice and it's a shock for us.
It is. It's very, very well executed. Almost as well executed as all the people that are about to die in this prison.
Oh.
Woof.
So everyone else in the prison cleared out except the people that are left, and except for, as Liz was saying, we've got a Hannibal Lecter in the basement.
Yeah, we do.
Hannibal Lecter.
I didn't say that. No. Yes, as I as a big Wentworth Miller fan for many years, who and someone, by the way, who I have become, the more I have learned about Wentworth Miller as a person, the bigger a fan I've become of him. And I think he's just genuinely a cool dude who has had some rough patches in his life and has overcome them and has kind of fallen into a nice rhythm in his life. And I hope he is doing very well, whatever he's doing right now. But yeah, I was delighted that he got the "and" in the credits. That was very exciting for me. And I was also very charmed by the fact that they do, in fact, literally 5 years into his run on the hit Fox show Prison Break, introduce him inside a prison cell, which he does not properly break out of, but it's still really a nice touch. And
but his first line is like, "I know a way out of here," or something like that, which feels
he
very
does say
Prison
that.
Break.
Oh, very Prison Break.
When he was handed the script, he thought he was being pranked. Because it was
amazing.
It was very intentional to cast Wentworth Miller as prison convict Chris Redfield, who would need to help them escape a prison for the movies to go forward. But he thought, especially with the line, "I know a way out of here," that they were having a little bit of fun with him. But no, they were just huge fans and just were casting according to type.
One of the things I love about Wentworth Miller is this very signature dry delivery. It does mean that when we first meet him in this movie, and again, I have no idea who this character is, I have no idea what's in store, I did have real suspicion that maybe he was actually a serial killer. Entirely just from the way he delivers some lines.
That's the magic. That's the magic of cinematic master Paul W.S. Anderson. That's what he wanted you to think.
He knows how to play with our expectations.
He does say, whether you believe him or not, that he was unjustly trapped in that he's in the military, and they were stationed in that prison when the zombie outbreak first happened, and he was unjustly imprisoned in there by the inmates and then left to die, and that he's not actually a criminal. I like that this prison just had a Hannibal Lecter room, and the inmates were like, "Throw him in there."
Doesn't every prison have a Hannibal Lecter room? Like, what do you do when a Hannibal Lecter shows up?
That's a fair point.
This is a gloriously beautiful piece of architecture prison, to be fair. It's laid out like an embassy suites, like where there's like a big atrium in the middle, and then you can look straight up and see all like the rows and rows and rows and rows of cells above it. It is a well-designed prison.
It might be that our budget for incarceration in America is too high.
So my question is, we're all Los Angeles residents. We've all been Los Angeles residents for a long time. Is there a prison in the city limits that meets these qualifications? Like, is this based on a real place?
Not that has an atrium, but there's Central Prison, or I don't know what they call it, but
there's detainment centers and so forth downtown.
That's a jail downtown.
Yeah.
There's got to be a prison.
Maybe it's like in the Long Beach area.
When I saw the movie, I assumed it was East LA, like on the other side of the bridge and that general sort of area. But it is, in fact, the library of that same university where the crazy pharmaceutical coffee bar is. So when you go on your tour, Asa, the library at that university, Paul W.S. Anderson looked at it and said, "That looks like a prison to me."
This university might need to rethink some of its aesthetic priorities.
They rebuilt the whole thing on a soundstage because the 3D cameras are big, heavy, and it's not a good idea to take them outside. So all those exteriors are actually interiors, and they built the whole thing for 3D. That atrium, again, the only reason I really actually brought up the atrium is, again, this whole movie was designed for 3D. Every weird decision in the movie, you can then ask, like, was this a thing that was cool in 3D? And staring up into the endless rows and rows and rows from this looked cool. That was a lot of neat depth. The glass Hannibal Lecter prison cage also that holds Wentworth Miller also looks rad in 3D because you can see through the glass and you get all those fun effects. But yeah, it doesn't make a lot. He says something about he's there with a military unit, which is Chris Redfield lore, that he's a military guy.
Well, it gets them guns later. I think that's the real thing, is they needed him to be there with a military unit so they could set up the escape plan later. So we leave Wentworth Miller in the basement and do just a little pop around the prison to see that something seems to be coming up through the floor in the bathroom, and also outside where the zombies are gathering, there is what I can only describe as a Silent Hill monster walking around with a giant hammer axe.
Does
Resident Evil Does Resident Evil have those? Because it really just feels like it doesn't feel like other Resident Evil monsters. It feels like a Silent Hill monster to me.
Let's play a game again. Is the Executioner a character in Resident Evil? What do you think? Asa says no. It's a silent. Liz says yes.
I'm going to say yes, but I will say that when I was watching the movie, I was like, this guy with the giant axe thing is reminding me of something. And the answer is, it was reminding me of the end of Silent Hill 2, whatever it's called.
Revelations.
Revelations, thank you. Another movie I watched for this worst video game movies ever list. And
a thing that I know off the top of my head. Why, Asa? Why?
we all have these things. What is the answer to the question? Are those guys? Is that guy from the games?
He is a direct lift from Resident Evil 5.
It had that vibe. I mean, from a video game at least.
Yeah. Resident Evil does start leaning very heavily into this sort of like, here's a weird monster, the T-virus, or honestly, the actual video games have like a half dozen virus strains, numbers, things at this point. By 4, I think, we're not even dealing with the T-virus anymore.
But it's still the Umbrella Corporation, though, right? It's just not Wexler's division.
This is the perennial question. Like, is this actually an Umbrella thing? Like, you can play through all of, I think 7 is the one that they call Biohazard. You can play most of that game and get to the end and be like, oh, it was the Umbrella Corporation. It wasn't just weird, like, swamp zombies after all. And Chris Redfield shows up in the final moments of that game, and you're like, oh, it was the Umbrella Corporation. He's actually working for, like, the good Umbrella Corporation by that point.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
The Paraplui Corporation.
They call it Blue Umbrella.
Is it the same exact logo, just blue?
Incredible.
Yes.
No notes.
Yes. Blue Umbrella.
So we're in this prison, and it's like spurts of character development followed by spurts of action, especially once they release Chris and they go looking for the big guns.
Yeah, they do a decent job of it here. It's like Alice goes to take a shower and gets attacked by zombies whose like mouths open up, and that knowing that the zombies can get in that way is what makes her say like, okay, fine, I don't care. Let's let Chris out of the Hannibal Lecter cage. Like we're getting the action is motivating plot in a nice way. It's not just like careening from one thing to the next. But when they do release Chris, that's the first time Claire sees him, and he's like, Claire, my beloved sister Claire, and she does not recognize him because she's still not have her memories back, which is sad for us. But yes, he says, there's a big old armored vehicle that can get us out. It's what we came in. It can drive through all the zombies and get us out, but we need weapons first. And there's an armory, but it's on the like flooded floors below. So now they have a plan for how they're going to get out of here.
Okay, this leads me to my very important question, which is, isn't it kind of BS that coincidentally Chris happens to be locked up in the prison that Claire stumbles across?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, I will accept it. Like, I'm like, sure, fine.
I think what I wrote in my notes was, what a coinky dink.
Accurate.
In the video games, Claire Redfield's entire reason for being in the Resident Evil video games is she's just looking for Chris Redfield. I find it very funny that in this particular movie, she's not, in fact, looking for Chris Redfield at all. In fact, has not mentioned my brother Chris Redfield to anyone the whole time that she was running Claire Redfield's convoy.
That almost feels like a particular intentional FU to the sort of gamer audience that has been mad at Paul W.S. Anderson for the entire run of these incredibly successful motion pictures, because not only is she not actively looking for him, but when she finds him, it is by accident and she doesn't know who he is. Like, she is literally like, I could not care who this person is. I've never seen him before in my life. And mind you, eventually she remembers, but like the moment that you've been waiting for, Resident Evil fans, is played off so differently.
Their plan to take a very different path through all of this is funny. I think they knew that they wanted to put this character in the game. Chris Redfield returns in Resident Evil 5. It is a major playable character, has a lot to do in that game. So I'm sure that was high on the list. But I read in the notes that once again, they flirted with casting Jensen Ackles as Leon S. Kennedy, and once again chose no.
Why must they continually choose violence upon Jensen Ackles?
Just put him in
I'm bringing it up.
things.
I mean, I'm choosing violence by bringing it up and tormenting Liz and some of our listeners with it. But beautiful-haired, fast car driving, gun shooting, Leon S. Kennedy, still not played by Jensen Ackles. So anyway, yes, we've had the big video game moment. Claire and Chris Redfield are finally together. And for what? A missed connection.
I mean, it seems like in the context of without knowing any backstory of the games, in my head, it was just like, oh, he's her brother so that all the sexy tension can be with Milla. Because there's a part of me that was like, oh, no, is the sexy tension going to be between him and Claire? And then it's like, no, okay, cool. I mean, there wasn't really any sexy tension, but the possibility of sexy tension was there.
Oh, this is a very interesting outsider perspective that I really appreciate. You had that moment where you were like, ooh, I would like to see that happen. And then like the movie very quickly is like, hey, listen, before we do any shipping, he steps up. He's like, wait, ladies, that is my sister. Do not get any ideas. Like we're going to do that sibling thing right away.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that I'm not like thirsting for like Alice to have a real romance, but I did really like her moment with Carlos in the previous movie, and I would like to see. At this point, I just want Alice to be happy.
I feel like we're setting up Luther that way in this movie. It's not as good as Carlos, but I feel like that's the role he's playing.
I have a theory about how we code who Alice is supposed to be with.
Oh, interesting.
What is your theory?
They don't have sleeves.
It didn't.
No, Odette loses the sleeves pretty quick. And at the beginning, it's like, oh, I got bit here. And then he just like continues to rock tank tops and body armor with his sweet guns out for the remainder of his time in the movies. So yeah, I saw it immediately. Luther shows up in that tank top and I'm like, he's for her.
Okay.
Incredible.
Amazing.
We will see how this theory plays out over the remaining two movies, but I'm very excited.
I have no memory of the final two movies at all. So I'm just as excited to test this theory as you are.
Amazing.
All right. So where are we? They go down in the basement to get the weapons. They have to dive under the water. As Jesse mentioned, there's a girl that swims. She swims once and then gets attacked by zombies and dies. Meanwhile, the people that are tasked with getting the armored car discover that the armored car does not have an engine in it. So schemy movie producer immediately just starts killing people and is like, now that there's just two of us, my wormy assistant, we can take Alice's plane off the roof and escape.
Can I say that, like, again, we mentioned earlier that like Kim Coates playing this like schemy, late odds movie producer felt like Paul Anderson working out some personal demons. And they go through this whole thing. Like there's a whole long plot device about this is how we're going to get out. We're going to use the urban assault vehicle the prison has to mow past all of these zombies. And then they get there and the engine's missing from the vehicle. And it really does feel like a meta moment where the producer's like, this is going to be really expensive. I don't want to do it. I'm just going to shoot the mechanic. The engine's over here. I'm just going to shoot the guy who could put it back in there. We don't have to do this scene, everybody. Moving on.
You know what? I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
But I guess crucially, the assistant decides that murder is wrong and doesn't take the co-pilot's seat in the plane.
But Bennett does escape in the plane. He does get away on the plane, and the rest of them are now on the roof getting attacked by zombies. Silent Hill shows up. No, wait, what did you call him? The Executioner?
The name that they come up with for the movie is Executioner. It has a different name in the game that
I feel like he's just intentionally pissing off these fans that are mad at him now. He's like, yeah, I took something from the game. I gave it a new name. Huh? How do you like them apples?
They don't ever say the name, they're just sort of like, oh, hey, you.
Yeah, they don't talk to him much.
No.
So I think like they do a cool elevator drop. That's fun. And now Claire and Alice are back trapped in the bathroom with the executioner guy so that he can swing a giant axe and break pipes and have water fly around in 3D. And I bet in 3D it was beautiful.
Yes, it was. It is the other scene that I remember when I think about this movie. I think about, because it's also the scene that has a lot of like axe for you. Like there's an awful lot of like
Yeah.
an axe like swinging through the audience and narrowly missing.
The other thing they do that now that we're talking about it, I realize is surely an invention just for the 3D is early on in the movie, there's a scene of Alice, like when they first get to the prison, where she's like counting her piles of quarters. And Claire is like, what even is this? And she's like, I collect them. And then it turns out that Alice's shotgun is just always filled with quarters as buckshot. Which is amazing.
It's like a Super Mario Brothers situation where every time she kills a zombie, it releases coins.
Coins. It's very video gamey. I do like that there is a shower of coins every time one of them is annihilated with those guns.
Yes.
It does make that fun noise. No,
I don't know what that noise was. I guess
coin noise,
like the coins tinkling like a rain of coins every time she fires it, and you hear the slow-mo coin noise.
Every time they use the quarter scattergun, though, it is like a great gory horror movie effect. Like it punches like a lot of fun holes in the zombies, and then in this fight, they do a really good job punching a lot of holes in the executioner while he's having this cool fight. I need to talk about a pet peeve now, which I have kept to myself up until now, but it's since this movie came out. So for 16 years, there has been a phrase burned in my head, and it's Allie Larder, close your mouth. You can tell that like she's now been on television enough that she starts doing the late aughts, like my mouth is always open and that kind of like breathy sort of pout face all the time. And this is a movie that is just constantly said that like, oh yeah, you get like one drop of infected blood inside of you. And Claire Redfield all of a sudden has forgotten to like keep her mouth closed while she's shooting holes in an infected corpse. And it's a weird personal thing. It's like, I can't describe it, but it drives me nuts every single time. And her mouth is open in that entire fight. And there's water and there's blood and there's quarters.
So Jesse, I have a similar complaint, but
yes.
This is, so I've decided to find my inner Jesse and do extra homework for this podcast. And I started watching the Netflix Resident Evil series that ran for one season.
I heard it wasn't very good.
I haven't finished it yet, so maybe it gets better. But there's a moment in the very first episode where this woman who has apparently been studying the zombies for like 6 months out in the field, like it's established that these zombies can smell the blood and they won't come after you if they can't smell the blood. And there's a moment where she's like in her like tent or her hiding place or whatever, and she stands up and just scratches her arm on some loose like ragged metal, and then the zombies all come after her. And I'm like, you are wearing a jumpsuit, like a full body covering jumpsuit, and you have the sleeves rolled up to your elbow in this scenario where the one thing you cannot do is get even the tiniest scratch on your body. Like, what are you doing?
Maybe she wants to attract Alice.
Nothing like a zombie movie.
That would be a crazy twist.
There's nothing really like a zombie movie to capture, like, just how stupid people can be, or just like it's like stupid decisions always feel more stupid in a zombie movie context.
Yeah. I mean, she was no LJ, but it was still not great.
Totally.
If this happens, guys, I'm gonna balaclava up so fast. I'm not gonna. If this happens to us, you're not gonna see my mouth or my nostrils for a while.
You're making an excellent point here. So Alice and Claire survive the Axeman, and then unfortunately, around the same time, we lose Luther.
He gets dragged away by tentacle men.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which sucks. Love Luther. And that leaves Alice and the Redfields.
Alice and the Redfields.
I'd go to Hotel Cafe and watch them.
Yeah.
But they make it to the Arcadia at last, and everything's fine. Everyone lives happily ever after.
Roll credits. We did it.
Yeah.
Movie over.
Yay!
No.
I actually love the reveal that the Arcadia was, in fact, an umbrella trap the whole time. And they've got fancy floor prison to put all of their test subjects in. It's all real grody, but they find Kmart, which is lovely.
Finally, her name's very high in the credits for a character who hasn't shown up yet, and we've discussed that I like Kmart best. But
she gets a pretty big role now.
Yes, and I do appreciate that they have kind of been looking for her the whole time, and they are very quick to be like, oh, there's Kmart, get her out first.
Unlike Extinction, this movie does not seem that interested in sweeping aside everything that was introduced in the previous movie in order to bring in new elements. It's keeping, if anything, it sweeps aside everything that was introduced in this movie to keep all the elements from Extinction.
Our friend the swimmer gets like kind of a lousy death.
I was actually going to say, like, it kind of caught me off guard how, like, she got, like, it's a cute moment when she's like, I have a swimming background, I can help. And I was like, that's a nice little moment of like quiet bravery from a person who's like an ordinary person. And then she just kind of gets flooped away. And like literally a minute later, Alice is like, ooh, guns.
Yeah, it does not seem to impact Claire and Alice emotionally very much.
Yeah, but a lot of the new characters get like a surface level treatment because they are just there to they're there to be a body count, honestly. Like,
I will say again, Paul W.S. Anderson keeps giving us, like, even the body count characters do get something going on. Like the movie producer and his assistant, it's like there's something there. They're not just like nothing burgers. So I do appreciate that from him. It helps keep these movies a little above what they could otherwise be. Yes, so they get to the boat. They found Bennett's crashed airplane, but he's not there. Nobody's there. They get Kmart out. Hooray. But they also, when they're using the computer to get the Kmart out, it says that like all the lifeboats left 3 days ago. So whatever the Umbrella Corporation was doing here with their trap, they have now abandoned ship, which feels a little concerning. Maybe something to watch out for.
There are 2,000 people. I'm listing this number now so that I can have a squawk later about the Umbrella Corporation. But they mentioned that there are 2,000 people in sort of suspended animation storage inside this ship. Excuse me, nautical people will be mad. It's called a ship.
Are we onto the part where Wesker is eating people?
Sure.
I think because Alice sees that when they start letting all the people out, not just Kmart. Alice sees that some of the tubes are empty and bloody, and so she kind of follows the trail of bloody tubes into the next room where she finds Albert Wesker on his weird crime throne. Science throne? Is it more of a science throne?
No, it's a pristine white throne of corporate evil. No other scene in this movie looks like it is ready to be a $200 diorama that you buy at Comic-Con faster than Wesker sitting on this all-white throne flanked by his mutated Dobermans.
I'm so glad we get mutant Dobermans back again, and they've leveled up this time. At this point, like, we should add just mutated Dobermans to the list of what makes a Resident Evil movie, because it's not a Resident Evil movie without some mutant Dobermans.
Are we 4 for 4 at this point?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, they show up every single time. These new Dobermans whose heads split open to reveal other mouths. They are made of mouth, and there's another mouth inside the mouth.
It's sort of
also from the video game.
It's sort of Thing style. Like it cracks open down the middle and is full of teeth, and it is pretty awesome.
Those are in Resident Evil 5. So that is
a lot of stuff.
I do
from
think
5.
Capcom, I think, was like, hey, these evil dogs are good. We should put more evil dogs in. And what if we made them weirder?
So this got a little weird. So it's Alice fighting the Dobermans, and it's the Redfields fighting super speed Wesker. And normally I feel like that would be the reverse. The sidekicks would get the Dobermans.
But Alice always fights the Dobermans. Like, that's her thing. Like, she's not going to let other people have that kind of fun.
She's like, you guys take the big boss. I'm more of a Doberman gal.
Claire and Chris, it's like 2 against 1. It's a little more fair.
That's true.
She just trusts them to handle it. I wrote down regarding the sequence, sunglass toss to prove he fasts now. As I mentioned, I'm very eloquent in my notes. Like, speaking to the points about like doing slow-mo, like Wesker like throws his sunglasses around the room a bit to prove how fast he can go now, because he fasts now.
Yes. He takes off his sunglasses, he hurls them at Chris Redfield, and then launches. It also serves as a distraction. He flies forward, and Chris Redfield is utterly defeated by sunglasses flying in his face, and then gets pummeled by enhanced Wesker, who has a weird mouth that splits open also now, because he's been eating the test subjects. He says he wants to eat Alice. Because that will make everything better if he could just eat Alice.
I think the idea is he's been infected and he's gotten the powers, but the T-virus is like winning, and the more uninfected DNA he eats. So he's eating the like clean humans out of the tubes because that is keeping his human DNA side dominant. And Alice, because Alice clearly has the best human DNA that defeated the T-virus once. If he eats her, he gets to win and keep his superpowers, but not maybe turn into a full-on monster the way that oh golly, what was our doctor before? Dr. Isaacs.
Dr.
Isaacs.
Dr. Jason Isaacs. Not like him. Not this way.
So I have a question for the two of you, which is, how do you feel about the Wesker fight?
I mean, Wesker's kind of become one of those villains to me where he just kind of keeps showing up. He's not really killable. He's not really, like, I'm not really necessarily that interested in his motivations. Like, it just kind of feels like he shows up to do evil and give Alice something to do.
I wish he got cooler monster powers. I feel like the super speed felt off to me, and I wish he had gotten like a tentacle power that was as cool as the Dobermans, I think is kind of where I'm at.
You're not wrong. Many critics and normal people who gave that movie a B or perhaps lower pointed out that he looks and behaves an awful lot like Agent Smith from The Matrix, and that it felt a little rip-offy. But since you brought up it seems weird that the Redfields fight Wesker while Alice handles the Dobermans. There is a reason for it. That fight is from Resident Evil 5. And that is the actual exact moveset that the Wesker boss fight has in Resident Evil 5.
Does he ever speed throw his sunglasses at you in Resident Evil 5?
I don't know the answer to the sunglass thing, unfortunately, but I do know that moveset and everything about that fight, including the fact that it is a fight with Chris Redfield, is why that is the way that it is.
Okay. Wesker keeps coming back. Like Liz said, you can't kill him. And once again, he goes to escape in his boss copter that feels like I'll get you next time, He-Man. Like it's very and he presses the activate purge facility button like he did at the beginning of the movie, but Alice got him this time because she has hidden the purge facility bomb, which was just stored in a wall like it's a fire extinguisher.
It's labeled like facility purge bomb.
Well, you don't want to like not label it. Like what if you misplace it? That's not a thing you want to misplace.
It's labeled like the Bat computer in the 60s Batman show.
So Alice broke glass in case of emergency, got the purge bomb, and just chucked it into the back of the copter. So as he's flying away, he explodes. But I have a feeling we have not seen the last of one Albert Wesker. Before we get there, we get another reveal. This movie is good with the reveals.
Yeah.
Because who should wander out of the sewers to see that something has exploded in the sky? Who is it? Who is it, Liz?
Luther!
I know you want to say.
Luther!
Yay!
Luther, and he has like a cool line that he yells at the zombies on his way out. It has the gist of like, not today.
That's right. Star power, bitches.
He gets a Kaplan moment of like, you thought he was gone, and then he gets to like shout a cool line and still be alive and in these movies.
That's right. Star power, bitches.
It's a good move. I like it. So now, with all of that sorted, they release everyone from cryo sleep. The Arcadia really is going to be a rescue ship. Alice re-records the message that they've been hearing so that it's from Alice. It's not a trap message anymore. It's a real message. There is hope. We've gotten yet another Alice did it positive ending. Definitely this could be the end of this series. No, wait. Now we know these movies make money. Now we're banking on it.
So we've got one last big reveal about these big choppers that have surrounded the Arcadia ship, and it's Jill Valentine wearing a boob scarab.
Blonde Jill Valentine.
Yeah, why blonde? That annoyed me because I barely Okay, here's actually what happened. I was watching. And I was like, I should skip forward because it's the year 2010. There's probably a mid-credit sequence, but the mid-credit sequence came too fast. So I like hit the credit sequence. I was like, oh shit, I should go back. And I managed to go back into the credits enough to see the cast list. And her name wasn't at the beginning of the movie, but there's Sienna Guilfoy's name credited as Jill Valentine in the closing credits before she even shows up on camera. And then we get to the mid-credit sequence and there's Jill. But also, why is she blonde? That was confusing.
I didn't recognize her.
Because that's why I didn't recognize her, because blonde. I only knew it was her because I had seen the credits in advance.
It had been 6 or 7 years since I had seen that. I had seen Apocalypse, the only time at the time that I felt I ever needed to see that movie. And I was like, it took me a minute. I think Jenny was the one who said, like, why is Jill Valentine back? And I was like, Jill Valentine's not in this movie. That's Claire Redfield. And she's like, no, dummy, at the end. But yes, so a purple bodysuit wearing blonde Jill Valentine with a boob scarab is now leading the attack force that the Umbrella attack force that is going to invade Arcadia. It's a glorious boob scarab too, bigger than the other ones.
Do we ever see a man wear a boob scarab in these movies?
Hey, so I have a thing about the boob scarabs, which is, did you notice that everybody in the storage facility is also wearing a scarab, but like they've all got them on over their shirts? Like Kmart is wearing a scarab shirt, but only Claire Redfield and Jill Valentine need them attached with skin contact directly to their upper chest.
That's just the fashion of the time.
I mean, I think it was they didn't want to put 100 extras in that much prosthetic, but they're like, t-shirts will work. The scarabs are an invention of Anderson, but there is a mind control implant device that is attached to the chest that is from the video games. And so that is a canonical, exact Resident Evil 5 evil Jill Valentine with the boob parasite.
Oh, she gets evil parasite controlled in the games too?
Yes.
Ah.
So much of this movie is from Resident Evil 5. This is bananas, you guys.
Yeah, she's a boss fight. You fight evil purple suit wearing blonde Jill Valentine as Chris Redfield, because she is his co-partner in the games that they're in together.
Do they have sexy tension?
I don't know. I'm scared so much of the time in these games. I don't really like. I don't know when I'm supposed to be horny.
Always.
So we made it to the end of this movie.
We did an okay job.
So did the filmmakers.
Hey.
No, they did.
But I really enjoyed this movie, actually, so that's an unfair dig.
Yeah, no, it was fun times. I feel like if I was reviewing this as a film critic, I would probably approach it differently. But I'm approaching this film as I embrace it as an entry in a franchise. And yeah, what a fun time.
Was it what you were expecting based on where we left things last time, Liz?
Absolutely not. I couldn't tell you what I was expecting, but I could not tell you I was expecting this. Like, I think I would have expected maybe the clone Alice stuff to go on longer. Though I understand probably for budget reasons, it made sense to kind of wrap that up pretty quickly. Just like, we're in Los Angeles, there's a prison, we're on a boat, ship. I am very curious about where they go from here. We like we were talking about Wesker and how he's kind of starting to feel played out after only like really one movie. So I'm curious like how the reintroduction of Jill Valentine works and what that ends up playing out as.
Where do you think we're going now?
It is kind of dazzling how little idea I have. Like my maybe they're overwhelmed. Jill Valentine abducts her and they take her to a new Umbrella facility and that's where the new hijinks happen. But yeah, I'm very curious. I'm very excited to find out.
Let's do Liz's fashion corner, which will lead us into running superlatives this time.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, so we got our theme song, which is Fashion Corner with Liz and the Boys. Fashion Corner with Liz and the Boys. It gets better every time. We talked a little bit about her aviator outfit, and you wanted to ask us what do we think the outfit is called. I'm going to guess her Amelia Earhart look.
That's what I would have guessed too.
Partial credit. It is the cyberpunk Amelia Earhart outfit.
Like that. That's a good description for it. So we've got that. We've got we got the clone bodysuit in all its variations. And I really, by the way, appreciate the fact that there are versions where she is not wearing heels. She's wearing flats. Again, these movies are feminism. And then at some point, and I'm not totally clear on when and how it happens, but she picks up her outfit that basically kind of, I feel like she wears for the rest of the movie, which is the scoop neck tee with the corset over it and then the leggings, which is nothing too exciting. It's good. It's practical. It's not, I think, going to knock anything off the list at this stage. I don't think it beats the shorts and trench look from the previous movie, but it was still a good time.
I did listen to the commentary track, which she's not on, but they do discuss it at one point. The corset is actually inspired by the stunt harness that Milla wears in most of the movies, because she does a lot of her own stunts. And she was like, I think Alice would actually have, this is a very useful garment that I keep wearing, and I think Alice would have something like this.
I respect that. As mentioned, we've got the sleeveless look that Luther sports, proclaiming himself to be a potential love interest for Alice. And then I really can't remember at all what Claire was wearing. It just seemed like clothes. Like, good for her for just having clothes.
We talked about it a little bit last time, so I wanted to bring up that Claire Redfield's video game outfit is a red leather jacket over a gray tank top and some standard sort of jeans, and she gets a very, this is the movie version of that look. How do we feel about Wesker's sunglasses?
I think on his face, great as a weapon.
Okay,
not too silly for Asa.
I agree with this, and also I found myself really fixated on his helmet head. Oh, his helmet hair, rather.
Wesker is just a series of incredibly strong choices from everybody involved, and I don't know that it quite works, but I also find that I really enjoy it.
Totally.
Yes.
I'm 90%. I'm 90% sure that actor is perfectly capable of speaking like a normal human, and he's doing that.
He is. That is how the character sounds in the video game, and he understood the assignment and adapted his speech pattern to sound like the video game character. There was a whole conversation apparently about Umbrella is now entirely underground at all times. It makes almost no sense that this character would continue to wear his sunglasses, and they decided that it would be too weird if he wasn't wearing them, given that he is always wearing them in the video game. A strong choice, honestly.
I think that's right. I think they made the right call.
I think he wears his sunglasses at night so they can't see him crying.
Well, and also so they can't see his monster eyes. They do. They do pretty clearly show us, like, if he takes the sunglasses off, you know he's a T-virus monster.
There don't feel like a lot of situations left in his life where he's like trying to keep that under wraps.
I bet in the corporate office environment at the beginning, back under Tokyo, he was not super upfront about it.
I will look forward to finding out how this evolves in the next movie.
Meanwhile, let's just roll into superlatives.
Sure.
I look forward to this now that we have enough of them. And for those of you joining us, we've kept a running tally of superlatives, and a more recent entry in the franchise is potentially knocking out something that has been holding on to the title for a while now. So Alice's best outfit currently is the post-apocalyptic trench coat with the hot shorts and the gartered stockings and the giant knives. So we do have our new contenders for Alice's best outfit are the Tokyo catsuit, cyberpunk Amelia Earhart, and her prison break tactical outfit.
As previously stated, I really think the trench coat look is kind of the winner
Agreed.
still.
Agreed.
It's just
Yeah,
it's the right mix of practical and sexy is where I kind of
It
land on it.
is. It is. It's and we don't have this as a category, but I will say that I like her hairstyle in this one better. I wish I could put the hairstyle from this one on the outfit from the last one. I'm just not into the wolf cut.
Yeah,
But
that's fair enough.
but again, I'm not Alice. Alice is free to make her own choices. This is feminism.
All the Alices are free to make their own individual choices.
Indeed.
Mostly around flats or heels.
And
Look,
ponytails.
I don't think you guys understand how much flats versus heels affect a person's being. Like, that is a huge seismic choice. That's why I always feel a little weird when I ask actors about their footwear. I don't do it nearly enough, most because I don't get to do long form interviews often enough anymore. But I remember once asking Gillian Anderson about it, and she was taken aback by the question, but then she was like, it is actually a good question because it does affect the way I walk and it does affect the way I approach the character.
It's funny because one of my enduring X-Files memories is the episode in which Scully meets the actress playing her in the TV show, and there's a whole sequence where she teaches her how to run in heels.
Yes, it's one of the best jokes in a very funny episode is because they stage it so that she's running back and forth in the frame while David Duchovny and Gary Shandling are having this whole other conversation. Heels are the worst. I hate heels. I can't believe it's taken me 4 episodes to just finally admit that that's why I keep fixating on it. It's because I think heels are terrible to wear, and every time I see an action sequence in which a woman is wearing heels, I just feel really bad for her.
You know what?
Anyways.
I bet Alice isn't wearing the heels was when she's wearing the graveyard sweater, which is from the first movie, still listed as Alice's worst outfit. We just got 4 movies in, and she's finally wearing something normal like the Amelia Earhart outfit, and it's still better. She does actually wear knitwear once in this franchise, and it's not as bad as the graveyard sweater.
Every time we hit this category, we discuss the movie we have seen, and we discuss whether or not there are wardrobe options we hate more than the graveyard sweater. And every time it's like, no, we still hate the graveyard sweater the most.
I think so. Here, my peccadillo in this is I'm not a big fan of this mid to late aughts lady action star just leather catsuit look.
Yeah.
The opening Alice look, the underworld movies, it's very ultraviolet, all of these. It doesn't have a lot of character to me, and it's not nearly as cool as so much else that happens in these movies. So I think if we're going to continue leaning into that for Alice, I might advocate to dethrone the graveyard sweater. Hasn't happened yet, but if it keeps going that direction,
I will defend Kate Beckinsale's right to wear that shiny black pleather thing all day long. But that's that character's thing, and Alice has other things. And I also wasn't at the moment. I hadn't really counted on the fact that I didn't know that Milla Jovovich had a lot of fashion ideas and a clothing line, and was probably actually going to be making a lot of smart fashion choices for her character throughout. So that's on me. I thought a wardrobe person at some point was going to put her in something weird, but she seems to have a lot of control over that, apart from the graveyard sweater.
I mean, I do really appreciate that her what we continue to find to be her absolute worst outfit is just a perfectly normal outfit for a person to wear, and we're like, nope, get her out of that perfectly normal sweater.
We are not watching these movies for normal fashion. We are watching these movies for Alice fashion.
Pop a boob scarab on that sweater, and now you're talking.
Yeah, there we go.
The right accessory changes everything. So I think we're on
Sweater scarab.
Yeah, we're on best sidekick now.
Best sidekick. Currently occupied by Carlos posthumously because we felt like Carlos had been done so dirty.
You didn't think I was immediately going to go for Wentworth Miller? Because I'm just saying he got her guns, and that makes him the most useful person in this movie aside from Alice. He helped her find the big storehouse of guns.
Claire, I'm not advocating to dethrone Carlos, but I am going to I'm going to try to counter the Chris Redfield narrative. Claire actually is the only other person to get like even like marginally on the board with a partial boss fight. Kmart also gives her a gun.
Kmart gives her one gun. Wentworth Miller gives her all of the guns.
I see the argument for Claire, but I feel like when I think about Claire, I'm thinking about Claire from Extinction, not Claire. Like Claire in this movie spends so much time just being like, I don't know what's happening. I got Scarab.
Yeah.
And the Claire that I love is Claire's convoy.
Claire in charge. If Luther didn't disappear midway through like the major sequence of the movie that he should be involved in, I'd feel a little different. And who knows, maybe the future could change. But I personally feel like let Carlos ride. R.I.P. Never forget.
Afterlife is yet to get on the board.
I'm sure it's coming. Best action sequence, though. I mean,
currently held by the Vegas fight.
I guess the Tokyo clone fight is really well executed. The way it unveils all the different Alices is well done. There's a lot of actually good action in it. There is some awkward wire foo, as Asa mentioned. But it is also like the last time we get to see her really like wield her powers. So I think like of the big fights in this movie, that would probably be mine.
I'm going to make a passionate argument for the executioner fight in the rain.
How much of that is driven by the 3D?
It is partially driven by it is partially driven by the 3D. I like it. I like that Claire gets to do a cool wall run and a flip and gets to do some actual action moves, and that Alice is knocked out for part of the fight, and any other character in this franchise is able to have an action moment that isn't rescued by Alice. So that for me, I thought was pretty cool. I'm not sure it's as cool as the Vegas fight either, but it's up there for me. But also, and the music's sweet during that section, so it's all clicking.
What I'll say about the Vegas fight, and then I'll let Asa talk, is that the Vegas fight's kind of a sprawling thing, and it almost feels like cheating to include it because it has so many elements that matter, and there's so many different kinds of fighting that take place. So I see the value of celebrating the executioner fight as like a centered, a focused action sequence that really does bring out the best in a character.
I like the logic and the distinction that you're making. I think I would say that if we were saying like what is the best like fight scene, or like one-on-one fight scene, then executioner fight maybe takes it across the franchise. But since the category is action sequence, I think the Vegas fight is still, like you just described, Liz, like it's sprawling. It does give a bunch of characters those extra moments. There's all the business with Alice getting like deactivated and then reactivated and things. It's still the Vegas fight.
All right, Vegas fight again. Most ridiculous overall moment is next. Currently still held by Jill Valentine shooting up her own police station.
I mean, when you say it like that, it does feel very hard to unseat, but I will make an impassioned plea for the sunglasses. The sunglasses toss is so insane to me, you guys.
It show he go fast now.
I think the thing about it for me, and it's funny that Asa brought up the Marvel versus Capcom thing, because it really does feel like all in those fighting games, they all like have a move that they do before they begin. My favorite in the Marvel versus Capcom games is Cyclops shrugs off his leather jacket.
Yeah.
For the fight, and it has I'm throwing my sunglasses, and this is my fighting outfit.
You know, it kind of breaks my heart to see Jill Valentine shooting up her home police station go away, but at the same time, the sunglasses attack is very stupid. So I will side with Asa on this, and I will cast my vote for sunglasses attack.
Wesker gets on the board. This movie gets on the board, and Wesker gets one. Best thing that's from the game. We have
now so many options now.
I know. Last time we said the best real thing from the game is Claire, and the goofy thing was Wesker's sunglasses. So
Wesker's sunglasses is on the board twice right now.
Yes.
Given how big a deal those sunglasses are, I actually think that works. I think that properly honors this franchise.
All right. Yep. Nope. So not Claire, not Chris, not the executioner, not the new scarier dogs,
I mean,
not
are we
face
no,
splitting zombies.
Oh no, no.
Wait, no, are that
New scarier dogs. New scarier dogs.
Yeah, I'm with that. I'm good with that.
Are they better than Claire though? Claire's great. Maybe she's not
Claire's
the best
great
sidekick, but
in
maybe
the
she is the
previous
best thing from the
movie.
game.
She's great in the previous movie when she's
But in the
closer to
previous
game.
movie is where she wins, right? Like it's not. It's about the whole franchise.
I guess we let it ride.
Yeah.
I mean, I would argue for Chris, except I don't think he's coming back, and I'm a little pissed about that. So
That's only because you looked at IMDb. He's a major video game character, and he sure seems like he's around for the duration.
And
But yes,
and,
you're right.
Yeah.
and really, you're arguing for Wentworth Miller, not Chris.
yeah, that's
Yes.
basically it. And I acknowledge that, and that's why I'm not fighting so hard.
Do we have a category of best star of Prison Break?
As I mentioned to you guys prior to recording, I still find it really baffling that Dominic Purcell has never been in a Resident Evil movie. It just feels like a thing he would do.
Can we get?
Doesn't-
Is it
isn't
too late
he-
to get Jensen Ackles and Dominic Purcell into the new Resident Evil movie that's coming out this year?
So the best thing that the movie's made up that is not Alice is currently held by the Red Queen. Arcadia, Luther, and the prison are all new inventions.
Do I think Arcadia is better than Red Queen? I don't know. Where do you guys land?
I don't. I agree with
I
you.
don't.
Arcadia is really cool. It's not better than Red Queen.
No,
Yeah.
Red Queen's great. Red Queen's
Evil little
great.
girl threatening to murder people. Yeah.
All right, our favorite monster is currently Nemesis. Wesker, who eats people. The face-splitting zombies, which are called Magini.
Wait, I'm
the
sorry.
ex-
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Magini.
Oh,
It's
okay.
from the
With
video
an
game.
M.
The Executioner, and I also added a 2000s film executive to the monster list.
I quite honestly, I'm leaning towards 2000s film executive. Man is the true monster, and Nemesis has held this for a while.
Okay, so I think
I
this
don't know.
movie is gonna take it because 2000s film executive is a great call. I will make an impassioned plea now for my face-splitting Dobermans because
Oh,
they are a
yes.
very, very cool.
as good as that 2000s film executive.
I'm
Yeah,
giving him
Honor-
an honorable mention. He's getting an honorable
well
mention.
Well deserved. He honestly
Um,
probably kills more people than a lot of other characters in this movie.
Best music is actually, no, I'm sorry, that one's wrong. We had the cover of Go Ask Alice as the best music currently. We didn't talk about this at all this time, but I think the music this time is by a duo that goes by the no spaces in this name, Tom and Andy, that as like a single artist name. And they've done a ton of like commercials, and they did a lot of film scores for a while and then sort of vanished. I think this score rocks. And there are like a handful of moments that are just like a very good synthesis of everything that these movies have been so far, in a way that like it feels like it's still the same, but it had teeth this time.
I agree about the score. It's hard to disassociate it from the visuals you're seeing, but the music during the opening Japan scene in this movie is so great. It's like it is the mood I want from this movie. But obviously that's also working hand in glove with everything else that's going on.
Of note, this movie has only one needle drop. It is score all the way through. All the other movies have had needle drops at some point. This one's the only one that it uses a single perfect circle song, which actually sounds like it's part of the score until the end credits when Maynard starts singing. Cool. Tom and Andy, get on the board. Most out of left field thing so far is currently held by the graveyard scene in which the long dead rise moments after an outbreak. I will suggest the blonde evil Jill one more time, or just the general appearance of Boob Scarabs as quite a surprise in this series so far.
The graveyard scene still refuses to make sense. Until we find something, until we hit something that makes less sense than that, I think it's going to reign supreme. And honestly, we've a lot of Apocalypse has gotten knocked off the board today. So
I have kept quiet about this because I do not enjoy, and I've said this before on the show, so it's going to start to seem like a bingo card thing. I do not enjoy cinema sins or, actually, it's this. But the previous movie going to such lengths to say that somehow the T virus annihilates all the water. And this movie is, I found all the water, guys.
I mean, I think
It's all in this prison in Los Angeles, and I retroactively, the T virus has destroyed all the water, except it hasn't. It feels like more out of left field than anything else, but I think it's too late. I missed my chance last week.
I feel like the thing is that all the water getting dried up is still really stupid, but it's a throwaway line essentially at the beginning of the movie that if you cut it, it wouldn't matter, and in fact, it clearly doesn't matter because, like you said in this movie, like all this water happens. The graveyard scene is an entire action sequence based around an incredibly stupid idea.
Fair. All right, graveyard scene stays.
Yeah, but I do very much hear your point and I agree with you.
Thread we most want to see resolved was previously held by what are we doing with all these clones? Well, that's been resolved.
Yes.
So it can't stay. I added Liz's why blonde.
Yeah, I think that wins.
Yeah.
I mean, everything else is like, the brother, Claire not mentioning your brother, that's a question. But why is Jill Valentine blonde? Why did you make this choice?
Okay. Best cliffhanger in the series is currently there's a whole army of Alice clones. Our new cliffhanger is a double because there's, here comes Umbrella to invade the boat, but also Jill Valentine.
Army of Clones is still cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last one. This is our favorite one, guys. Who was living life to the fullest? Last time we gave it to Carlos, who is no longer living life. So he has to be occupied by someone new.
Oh, shit. I didn't realize that was part of the rule.
No. I suppose we can leave it. I suppose if no one else was...
Carlos was living life to the fullest. Someone has to be living life more fully than Carlos was.
Yes, that's true.
Which I don't know that they were.
You know what? I'm going to say Luther because popping up and saying star power bitches as your triumphant comeback line. And also he just seems like a cool dude. He's making the best of his situation.
And he is continuing to actually live life, unlike Carlos.
Yes. Also, Luther is one of the only people in this series, I think, who deploys his skills from the before times and the after times, like doing a cool basketball move to save the plane and having some actual hops was useful. Okay. We did it, folks. We're at the wrap-up section. So my question for you is, do you have a question? Everybody here, we each pick a question about the movie we just saw, the next one up, or the franchise generally, or why are we even doing this?
In future movies, my question is, will they keep an actor's name out of the main credits to keep the surprise? And I'm going to qualify this as saying, I'm not talking about a mid-credits pop-up surprise. I'm saying, like, hypothetically, like, they figure out a way to resurrect Eric Mabius and they bring him back for the 6th movie. Would they, but it's a big surprise. Would they keep Eric Mabius's name out of the credits and he still pops up in the middle of the movie anyway?
I don't know the answer to your question, but I am going to tell you that you need to not look at IMDb anymore until we are done with this series.
Yes, sir.
That relates to my question because I don't remember, and I have done the same thing because Liz has raised a few of these over the course of this now. My question is anyone coming back that I have written off?
And we're not answering that question.
No, I know. But where this isn't questions and answers. This is just, do you have a question?
Yes. So what's your question?
Thinking about it beforehand, my question was going to be about the guns and swords and the multiple Alices choosing different weapons, but we actually got an answer to that question, which
I'm
is
so sorry.
Which is no, that's great. Sometimes it is questions and answers. Do I have a question? Yes, I think my question is everything that we know about the Resident Evil film franchise is at this point so wrapped around the Paul W.S. Anderson of it all, the Milla Jovovich of it all, that I'm having, what does it even mean to watch a Resident Evil movie that doesn't have Alice in it. Like, I'm watching the Netflix series and like Alice doesn't exist in the game, so she's not in that series, and it's honestly a little weird.
And I think it's going to be especially weird when we eventually hit the Zach Kreger movie, because that is also going to be like, from what I understand, that's going to be very different from all of this. Like, he's just kind of taking the franchise and doing his own thing.
So does that feel like Resident Evil to us? Because presumably it has Umbrella Corporation shenanigans and maybe a zombie dog, or does it like not feel like it at all because we're neck deep in this version of Resident Evil?
Okay, final thoughts. How do we like this movie? Last time Asa had previously said that he was pretty sure Extinction was his favorite movie, but was now thinking about revising it. I mentioned that prior to rewatching it, this was my favorite of the series, and Liz is now in deep uncharted territory.
Yeah, I wouldn't call this one my favorite of the franchise so far. I feel like maybe that title is currently held by Extinction. And I think it's just because Extinction, like, I feel like there's because the intro to Afterlife is so long, and then like the actual movie technically starts. Like, I love a lot of what's in this movie, but I feel like Extinction maybe holds together better as a complete narrative. So that may be my winner for now, though I do still really like the original.
Having redone this, I still like Afterlife more than Extinction. I feel like it is all good times for me throughout, and there's no part of it that I need to skip or I have to go like, oh man, LJ, why you gotta be like that? And so I think for me, and I remember this at the time too, and this hasn't changed, my enthusiasm for the Resident Evil franchise is at an all-time high now. Like, I had a good time after the first movie and I was pretty excited, but now after several movies that weren't maybe up to that level, I'm like, I'm back on board. I will be there first in line for the next one.
Yeah, I think that LJ aside, I do think Extinction is still my favorite of these, but I fully agree with you, Jesse, that this is where it like comes together and becomes like a bit more of what I think of as Resident Evil. It has more Umbrella Corporation facility, even though that facility is a secret boat. All the gears are really like clicking into place about what makes it a Resident Evil to me, and what the overarching story is. So I really love that about it. I do really enjoy this movie, and there are things in here that honestly feel a little like, it's surprising to me that we didn't get Wesker at this level until 4 movies in. You know, like, he's in the last one, but he's not like the thing. Because I think, like, when I think of Resident Evil, I think about Wesker. So this is, now I'm in it to win it.
Oh man, well, I can't wait for us to watch the next movie as well. So if you somehow haven't watched this movie yet, or if you're excited to rewatch it, I think you're gonna have a good time. Thanks for listening to Every Damn Frame. Please give us the like, give us the subscribe. It really does help. And if you want to leave a comment, maybe this time, you could tell us what color your hair will be and what your outfit will be if you ever get turned into a bad guy. So, where can we find everybody, and who have we been listening to?
You've been listening to Asa. You can find me at asa.tate at bluesky.social. And also on Instagram, but I'm never there.
I'm on Instagram at Jesse R. Vigil, but I'm also never post. I will get better about that. I'm so upset with myself because now 4 episodes in, I have now remembered that I have a Letterboxd account, but I'm still not using it, and I still can't remember how to log into it. It is my mission for next time, so I will watch a movie and I will actually put it on Letterboxd next time. In the meantime, I also am Jesse V at bluesky.social, and I am writing a serial lit RPG on Royal Road called Dumpstat Everything. It's a really good time. If you enjoy all of the franchise tomfoolery and cliffhanger, then this is what I'm doing with my free time as a writer lately.
And I'm Liz Shannon Miller. You can find me on the internet at lizshannonmiller.com. You can find me on Blue Sky at lizshannonmiller.com because I'm fancy. You can find me on Letterboxd at Lizlet. And you can follow my newsletter called Stream On, where I provide streaming recommendations. And you can find out more information about it at consequence.net/stream-on.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. Go out there, live life to the fullest. And I'll see you cats next time.
Every Damn Frame is researched, recorded, produced, and all that soup to nuts stuff by us, 3 adults with full-time jobs. You can find us online on Instagram and Blue Sky at Every Damn Frame, or you could find us on the interwebs at everydamnframe.com.